Hello everyone and welcome to the live stream. How are you guys doing? I hope that your night is going well. Tonight, of course, like usual, we're going to be hanging out for a couple of hours and we are going to be chatting about a bunch of different things that have happened over the past couple of days and just kind of like the week. A lot has actually happened today that we have to talk about, so that's going to be interesting. We're going to be talking about Marvel, we're going to be talking about Hogwarts Legacy, we're going to be talking about Reset Era, lots of different things. And after, probably like a topic and a half, I have a giveaway to talk about. But before we get started, tonight we are going to be talking about Kevin Feige coming out and talking about Marvel. He responded to the claims that people are fatigued from superhero movies, TV shows, and content, and he basically said that that is not true. People are not fatigued, and he just thinks that, as stories continue to grow, people will keep watching them. Classic move. We're going to be talking about Netflix deflecting blame towards customers, basically saying that we hear the people that are upset that shows they like get canceled. Of course, 1899, Warrior Nun, all these different shows that Netflix has released that have gotten a lot of hype behind them. Netflix has decided to basically say that no successful shows are ever canceled. And, they talk to a very small audience on a very big budget. And basically that people need to accept the fact that they cancel things all the time, which this has definitely been a very controversial topic or statement from them. We are going to be talking about Lord of the Rings, not Rings of Power, luckily, but we are going to be talking about how this just happened yesterday. Netflix now has the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which a lot of people think is very, I don't want to say suspicious, but very odd, because of course Amazon had them, and now they are being handed over to Netflix, so we're going to be chatting about that. We're also going to be chatting about Hogwarts Legacy. Of course, we're pretty close to release, only a couple of weeks away, and of course, there's been kind of a war going on social media. There's people saying that you shouldn't support the game because if you support it, you're a bad person. And there's other people simply saying, I've loved this franchise for a very long time. I am going to support it, whether people like it or not. And now, Reset Era has decided to ban all discussion about the game. It doesn't matter if you are just talking about gameplay mechanics, the story, it doesn't matter. They have decided to outright ban any discussion about it. So we're going to be, getting into that. There's kind of a lot here to cover. And we're also going to be talking about something that only broke a little while ago. Adult Swim has ended its association with the co-creator of Rick and Morty and also the individual who voices Rick and Morty, and they have decided to move ahead with recasting him over the, accusations that he is currently facing. So we're going to be talking a lot about this. That's going to be kind of more of the end topic, which they've decided to, instead of just allow people to discuss it and give their takes on it, they decided to, of course, lock their Twitter posts. They're wanting people to basically just shut up and accept the fact that their favorite characters are no longer going to be voiced by the very creator of this IP, again, over accusations. And we are going to be talking about PAX East, because I'm going to be going to PAX East, and I did put up a post earlier talking about how I have a couple of passes to give away. But before we get into all of that fun stuff, hello everyone. I hope that your night is going well. How are you all doing? Reset Error. Yeah, hey, listen, I understand there's a lot of people that use Reset Era, but every time I hear about the stupid platform, it's people going on it and complaining about something. I feel like Reset Era, people do not ever just talk about games and the content. It's where you go when you want to start a controversy. And I personally, I don't use Reset Era, I do not like Reset Era, and I'm not very surprised to hear that they have now banned all discussion about Hogwarts Legacy. They've definitely got a history of deleting posts, banning specific discussions, and I understand that people online get heated. I totally get that. But if you had rules and moderators, that really shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, replacing the voice of Rick and Morty. It's not just like one of the voice actors. No, he voiced both of them. And they are recasting. I personally think that at that point they should just axe it. I mean, that's that. What are you going to do that's going to make people happy? I just don't see a way that they can get fans to give the show another chance at that point. Reset Era is like old Twitter times 50. The problem is that Twitter is still bad. Twitter is still not good, which is unfortunate. A lot of us were hoping that things would change. It would be a better platform. It would be fair. That's all that I really cared about. But, well, it is not fair. Still, sad. Can't say I'm surprised, though. I was hopeful when Elon purchased Twitter. I was thinking, you know what, maybe this will be good. Maybe, you know, rules will be implemented fairly, and that's that. But that, well, that did not happen. Press F for Rick and Morty. I know that the Rick and Morty topic is very mixed, because of course there are a lot of people saying, oh, what are you gonna do with the show now that you've, you know, kicked one of the creators out? And of course he voices the main characters. But there's also people saying that it's okay because of the things that, you know, he's been accused of, and we're gonna chat about that. But my stance on issues like this have been firm for a very long time. I do believe in innocent until proven guilty. Yes, there have been things online posted that are questionable that he's done, very questionable, edgy jokes that he sent to people in private messages. Some of them, of course, people debate, were they really jokes, were they not? But, you know, waiting trial. He hasn't been charged with anything, but we're gonna chat about that after. So yeah, hi guys. All you gotta know about Reset Era is that that's where the Raylos hang. Enough said. Oh, did you all see, it was like 2 days ago, that Daisy Ridley was in an interview and she was asked by the interviewer, oh, would you ever return to Star Wars? And she basically said, well, I'm only a phone call away. I'm looking for work. Oh, God. I understand as an actor, you don't want to throw your past performances under the bus, even though she went through a hell of a time with all the Star Wars movies because people really hated the sequel trilogy. Well, a lot of people did. And she did face, you know, quite a lot of backlash for that. And the movies were definitely not great and deserved to get fucking roasted. And she doesn't want to turn on those films that, I don't want to say completely made her career, but made her career. It's just the way that she worded it. She was like, I'm only a phone call away. It's like, okay, you have a manager, right? Why can't they just contact the company instead of you publicly begging? Because it's not like she was talking about how passionate she was about Star Wars, how much she loved it and cared about it. Because sometimes actors will publicly make pleas, basically, so their fans will rally behind them, which I think is okay. But just the way that she said it was like, just was very, not my favorite way. Her career is over. I I don't think that her career is over. I just think that a lot of actors like her that are in major franchises and in movies that blow up, they do, you know, their couple of movies, and then they really don't do anything else unless it's a passion project, unless they feel like, wow, I'm really excited for this, I'm really hopeful for this. And I think that she's just that type of actress. She made the money that she needed to make. She made tons of freaking money, and that's that. Which, hey, power to her. If that's the, you know, the life that she wants to live, that's awesome. You go for it, Daisy Ridley. I'm not a big fan of her as an actress. I just don't think that she's that talented, but that's just my opinion. Also saying how good the Acolyte show was, yeah. I don't like her. But if you like her, that's cool. That's great. I'm happy for you. That's awesome. I'm gonna have to say no. So, fun times. But alright guys, let's get started. We're going to talk about the Netflix situation first and the controversy that they have put themselves in. So, this is a Fandom Wire article. They talk to a very small audience on a very big budget. Netflix deflects blame towards customers and claims successful shows are never canceled after axing Warrior Nun. Now, I personally don't like to get attached to shows, especially series that Netflix makes, because they are very well known for taking something and then canceling it. They'll make one season, sometimes two, and then it will get the axe. Even if the creators say they have 4 seasons planned, they were told they were gonna have like 5 seasons, they were gonna have this massive spanning franchise. I don't trust Netflix, and nobody else should either. If you trust Netflix, you're a little bit dumb. But Netflix has been under fire for canceling multiple shows in recent months. I mean, this has been going on for years, though. At this point, again, they're very well known for canceling shows. It says the cancellation spree of the streaming giant started in late 2022 and is still going on, with animated shows like Inside Job and Dead End being the newest additions to the list. This behavior did not sit very well with the fans of the shows, and they started calling out the streaming platform to bring the shows back. Fans of the fantasy drama Warrior Nun even went on to put a billboard in front of the streaming giant's headquarters to save the show. Now, I will give the fans of Warrior Nun props. Absolute fucking Chad move. Buying a billboard in front of the headquarters and then putting save the show on it, absolute Chad behavior. I personally was not a big fan of Warrior Nun. It is what it is. The fandom is crazy. Good for them. But it says, however, the streaming giant has not shown any compassion towards these fans. And as the backlash grows with the growing number of canceled shows, the new co-CEO of the streaming platform responded to the increasing backlash. And instead of saying, you guys are, you know, totally justified in how you feel, unfortunately, this is just business. Sometimes we have to cancel shows, even if the response is so positive. If they slightly reworded this statement, honestly, it would be not as bad, right? Because we all get, at the end of the day, it's business. But the problem is that they're deflecting the blame onto us, like, hey, you losers are the one who, you know, aren't watching the show. It's not our fault you guys aren't watching it enough. Come on, that's not a way to respond to your consumers. And of course, these CEOs don't care, they're making bank. But jeez. It says, and as the outreach grows over these cancellations, the new co-CEO has explained the reason behind these cancellations in a recent interview with Bloomberg. At least it's not Jason freaking Schreier. He said that they have never canceled a successful show, which is kind of funny because there have been series that they've said were successful that they've ended up canceling. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But he said that most of the canceled shows were well-intended, he said. A lot of these shows were well-intended, but talked to a very small audience on a very big budget. Now, for me, The show that they've canceled in recent memory that I personally am triggered about was 1899. Okay, I'm not gonna rant about it for too long, but I fucking loved Dark. Dark was the best show I've ever seen. Hands down, favorite show. Perfect, amazing, awesome, fantastic. The same creators made 1899, and I can fully acknowledge that 1899 wasn't a normie-friendly show. It just wasn't. I'm not gonna sit here and get into all the reasons why. It wasn't so normie-friendly. But these are creatives that they have spanning deals with, that they plan to do multiple shows with. Of course, they did the 3 seasons of Dark. They were supposed to do 3 seasons of this. It was supposed to be very similar to Dark, and they ended up panning it. I'm honestly a little bit bothered by that. I understand 1899 wasn't a 10 out of 10 like Dark, okay? I can accept that. But it was still on the most watched Netflix list, like the top 10, for weeks. Like, at least 2 weeks it was in the top 10. And that's just, like, off the top of my head from what I remember. It's not like it did bad. Now, with it, it's like it was a giant advertisement because they were using a lot of new filming technology. So it was basically just a giant ad like, oh, hey, this is what this technology can do. But Netflix decided to pan it, which honestly bothers me. I don't really care about Warrior Nun. But it's just the way that they respond to us. And it's not like, hey, we understand. It sucks. Unfortunately, we have to cancel shows sometimes. It's just like everything is up on the chopping block, which is so depressing because I don't know if it's this way for you guys, but for me, I don't want to watch a show that I have a feeling is going to get canceled. I do have to watch a lot of content on this channel that, good golly, I hope by the end of watching it gets canceled. I'm looking at you, Velma. But if I wasn't, running this channel and I didn't have to watch this content, you bet your bottom dollar, like 70% of the shows, movies, just content that I consume, I would not. Because I know it's gonna get canceled, and I know it's the Archive 81. Oh, don't get me started on Archive 81. I will fucking screech. That show was good. It was neat. It was different. It's not normie friendly. I understand you gotta make your shit appeal to normies, but can't we get something different every once in a while? Archive 81 got canceled. What can I say? Netflix sucks. I mean, you guys are... I don't need to sit here and tell you, okay, that Netflix sucks, but damn, they have gotten really bad over the past few years. So, fun times, chat. That's what the Netflix co-CEO said. It's not their fault that they have to cancel shows, okay? It's your fault. You need to open 10 instances of Netflix, okay? And you need to watch it over and over and over, okay? You need to have it on autoplay if you even want a chance at your show getting renewed, which is depressing, but it is what it is. Classic Netflix. But yeah, that's all that we had to discuss with that. Next, we're going to chat about Lord of the Rings. This is going to be a fairly quick topic, but, well, it's going to be fairly quick because there's a lot of speculation here, but I still wanted to talk about it and speculate because, well, we all care about Lord of the Rings. We all love Lord of the Rings. Screw Rings of Power. It's just a bad show. Fun times. Hello, Brett. Making shows for small audiences on large budgets is fiscally irresponsible. Shocker. Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, and then they blame us. It's our fault that that's what they decided to do. I will also never trust those most watch lists on their site, like authors buying their own books to make bestsellers lists. It's all advertising. I completely agree, but it makes them look bad in a situation like 1899 and also Archive 81. Something is on the trending page for weeks, and then you're gonna cancel it, even though it was on these top lists. There were tons of really positive articles released about it, tons of positive reviews. it's another reason to not trust companies like Netflix and to trust reviewers because, well, okay, why are you canceling it then? Cancel good shows, but they made Masters of the Universe. Yeah, and they're doing more Masters of the Universe. They're doing... I keep forgetting the name. Revelation, and it starts with an R. Revelation and... Retribution? Resurrection? It's one of those. I think it's Resurrection. I can't remember. Stop naming your series so close to each other. It's stupid. It's bad marketing. Okay, if I can't even remember the name of the season 2, sorry. And I have to talk about it. Revolution? Oh, that's it. Wasn't even one that I said. See? Bad. Bad marketing. Companies suck. Wasn't that the Bad Matrix movie? It was, but listen, everyone reduces, reuses, and recycles these words because they sound big and cool. So, listen, I'm already confused enough as it is on a daily basis. Never mind when everything's named the same. Theater. I'm not gonna repeat that, but I mean, I'm not laughing because that's offensive. Anyway. Yeah, they love to, you know, create bad shows, guys. But talking about Netflix, just a little bit different. In a actually pretty shocking turn of events, the Lord of the Rings trilogy is coming to Netflix on February 1st. Now, this is massive for a lot of different reasons. Because this means one of two things. I've talked a lot about Lord of the Rings and Embracer and it being purchased. I talked about this back when it broke in August, but it says Embracer has bought a wide range of rights to Tolkien's works, but there are questions, and we didn't think that this deal had went through yet. We hadn't heard anything else about it. We knew that the rights were selling for at least $2 billion, but it seems like things have gone through because now the Lord of the Rings trilogy is going on to Netflix, which is not very good for Amazon because that means Embracer either licensed it out to give the finger to Amazon because maybe they saw the backlash to Rings of Power, maybe Rings of Power didn't end up bringing as many Tolkien fans in as they wanted. They were probably expecting the numbers on Amazon Prime Video to be absolutely massive for it, and we've heard, according to them, that the numbers were great. But why would you give this away if you could use it to boost up, you know, a franchise that you're pretty invested in? So that means, again, either Embracer licensed it out to give the finger to Amazon because maybe they're not happy with what Amazon is currently doing with, you know, their Tolkien Lord of the Rings projects. I hate calling Rings of Power Lord of the Rings. Or they did it simply because they are looking for a lot of money and Netflix offered them a bunch. We don't know. We have no confirmation, which is why there's not a lot to talk about here. But something suspicious is going on. In my opinion, it's just a theory. Let me get on my tinfoil hat because you know I love some good theories. Something here doesn't line up, in my humble opinion. It seems like maybe there is a divide there or an issue, but it to me just makes Amazon look even worse. And if you don't remember the full deal, it was reported back in August that the sale of the rights by the Saul Zaentz company, Variety said the buyer was expected to be a Hollywood studio or a tech giant, and we all assumed that it was going to be Amazon, but it ended up not being Amazon, which also was pretty fishy because why would Amazon not buy it? Like, Amazon has the money, they have that buying power, and a lot of people thought that, you know, maybe the Tolkien estate decided we want to give it to someone else. We don't want Amazon to get it, and, you know, Embracer was just next in line. But the rights were selling for at least $2 billion. They could have been more. And I've had to talk a lot about Embracer because they have bought some major companies. They've made some major acquisitions, limited run games. cringe. Tripwire Interactive, Tuxedo Labs, they've bought a ton from Square Enix, they bought up all of their Western studios, so yeah, I mean, again, lots of speculation, I'm sorry. I tried to look for some kind of information on this. Everybody's speculating about it, I couldn't find anything else. What are your thoughts? Do you guys think that this is a giant swipe at Amazon? Do you think that Embracer licensed it out to say fuck you to Amazon? Do you think that it was just convenient? Do you think that they're desperate for money and that Netflix just offered them a bunch? Let me know. Also, Autobots, thank you for the 5. It looks like Amazon is trying to write it off for a cash grab. At least that's how it appears to me. Yeah. I mean, who knows? They could be desperate for money right now. Well, I mean, what company isn't desperate for money? Let me rephrase. But it's a little suspicious. Embracer owns a lot of stuff. Who owns Embracer? That's a good question that I should Google for you. Who owns Embracer? Lars Winchfors. He is Swedish. Embracer is a Swedish media holding company. It's I talked about it in a video back when it was announced that Embracer was going to be buying the Saul's Ants company. It is a very long, very suspicious list in history. I wish that we could talk about it, but there's a very, very long history. I remember there being, when I talked about it, like a list that shows you how basically everybody in some way, shape, or form is invested in Embracer. But I'll see if I can find it and I'll post it in the Discord server later. Uh-oh, people are getting banned. See you later. Bye. Damn. People are mad tonight. Jeez. Can we chill out? Can we be nice to each other for once? Sweden has excellent privacy laws. They are good in some regards. But yeah, that's all that we really had to discuss with that chat. We're going to be talking about Hogwarts Legacy now. Great timing. Random chatter. Yes. I actually do think that that is a great way to put it, Jay. Embracer is like the European Tencent. I would very much so agree with that. Also, it is important to note, which, again, this is... See, now I'm going to start getting into it. Thanks, Chris. Okay, I didn't want to get into who owns Embracer, but there is a subsidiary that is 100% owned and subsidiated by the PIF, the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund, which is basically the Saudi prince who likes to buy gaming companies and entertainment companies that are invested in Embracer. So Saudi Arabia is also everyone. Again, everyone. It's like, it's a, what's the best way to put it? It's like a spider web. I'm sorry, we can't sit here and talk about it for the night. I'm here to help, you're welcome. But Saudi Arabia is a giant part of Embracer. It's, yes, the European Tencent. Get into it, Vera. We can't. We'll be here all night. It's a rabbit hole. Okay, I've gone down that rabbit hole like 5 times. And like, not just like a half hour into the rabbit hole, like hours into the rabbit hole, dissecting the rabbit hole. Sweden has excellent desserts. Interesting. Fun fact. Thank you for that. Lars? Oh, I know what you're thinking of, Chris. The deeper we go into the rabbit hole, yeah, it's... Everyone is invested in Embracer in some way, shape, or form. You can connect every company to Embracer. But now we're going to be chatting about Hogwarts Legacy. I guess since we've had some haters in chat already tonight about Hogwarts Legacy, I will preface this conversation with saying this is my opinion. These are my opinions. And it is perfectly fine if you have different opinions than me or chat members. It doesn't really matter. You are allowed to have your opinion. I'm allowed to have mine. We're just sitting here having a friendly conversation. I'm just sitting here reading you some of the news. Don't be a hater. Don't be rude. Okay? Stop being toxic. I see you. All Hogwarts Legacy discussion has now been banned on one of the world's largest gaming forums. I hate Reset Era. I think Reset Era sucks. I have never created a Reset Era account, and I will never use Reset Era. The only times I have ever even gone to Reset Era were when I had specific links to posts that I needed to see to talk about in videos, but Reset Era sucks. I wouldn't even care if it died, if the platform just died out one day. Bye. Rest in piss, you won't be missed. But now Reset Era has decided to make waves on social media, throwing their hat into the Hogwarts Legacy war that is currently going on. I'm sure you all know, I've talked about it quite a lot. There's a bit of a war going on between people when it comes to Hogwarts Legacy. There are some individuals who are saying, I'm gonna buy this game because I'm super excited for it. I think that it looks like a fun experience. I think that we should just be able to play a game without being judged. And then there are other individuals who are on the complete opposite side saying, you're a disgusting human being if you play this video game. How dare you play a game that you are excited for because in some way you are supporting a bad person. And I'd like to start this conversation off with saying, if you support anything in this world, you can be linked to a bad person. Okay? Do you see this sticky note? I bet that there is an executive behind the people who make sticky notes who's a piece of fucking shit. I still buy sticky notes. So do you probably. Every single product in this world has someone bad behind it. Doesn't matter if it's an executive, if it's, you know, just a normal employee, someone who's getting paid to pack and ship items. But, yeah, there's a bit of a Hogwarts Legacy war going on. And this is a PC Gamer article, which of course, I'm sure you can all guess, sides with Reset Era quite a bit. Hogwarts Legacy was announced in 2020 and ever since has been dogged online by its association with J.K., author of the Harry Potter books and creator of the Wizarding World setting, whose views on trans issues have been so controversial and widely reported upon that Warner Brothers is desperate to make clear she has nothing to do with the game's creation. Now, a few weeks before its February 10th release, the de facto gaming forum Reset Era has completely banned discussion of the game. It is fine if you do not like JK. It is fine if you hate her guts. That is your right. You are allowed to dislike her. But I hate with a passion when platforms and individuals ban discussion because they don't want to talk about something, because they feel like I don't like this thing, so everyone else can't like this thing. Reset Era, an entire platform, has decided to ban the discussion because the general manager doesn't like JK and doesn't agree with her. And now, you can't even talk about the game itself. It's not like, oh hey, no controversial topics, no name calling, no arguing. You just can't talk about Hogwarts Legacy in general. Not even about the gameplay. The general moderator decided to make a statement on behalf of the moderation team, saying, "After continued internal discussion, we began to start outlining the issues put forth by JK and the game in question, and each time, and as we discussed it all, we kept coming back to the simple fact that she is not only a bigot, but is actively pushing in her position as a wealthy and famous individual for legislation that will hurt trans people, that she uses the influence and money gained from her success with Harry Potter to push transphobic legislation." Now, did this individual decide to post links and proof to their claims? Of course not. But, well, this isn't really new. I think that we all kind of accepted the fact that, you know, in a lot of corners of the internet, conversation about this game would be banned. I think a lot of people expected it to happen with Reset Era because they currently banned promotional activity for the game, but now they have just decided to ban it all in general, period. The mod team has decided to expand on our prior ban on promotion for the Hogwarts game to include the game itself. There will be no OT and no discussion of this game. The statement ends with a warning to the community about either commenting on content ban decisions by the mod team or advocating for their overturn. As is standard for posts of this type in Reset Era, the thread does not allow replies. So they came out with this statement saying we're banning all discussion about the game. They have locked replies so people cannot even respond and give their opinion. And they're basically threatening bans if you speak out against this. Like, if you say they shouldn't have done this, you could get your account banned, which obviously I do not agree with. I think that they've gone a little bit too far, in my humble opinion. It says, of course, while this may be unprecedented, it's not wholly unexpected. Reset Era's stance has been deeply skeptical about the game since day one, and on the forum's general atmosphere, it can be fairly described as left-leaning. Fairly described as left-leaning? I have no problem with people who are left-leaning. That's your opinion. You're allowed to have your own political viewpoints and standpoints. The problem that I have is when situations like this happen and you feel that you are better than people with the opposite opinion to yours. And unfortunately, that is how a lot of social justice warriors act. They believe that they are correct, and if you disagree with them, you are wrong. And, well, they're carrying on that fashion. Classic. You'd think that there'd be important, real issues. Well, apparently not. Censorship in the flesh. It actually gives me chills. Maybe I'm a loser. I think that it freaks a lot of people out. Because even though, again, I'm sure that a lot of you do not use Reset Era, I do not use Reset Era, we're seeing a whole platform straight up outright ban discussions because, well, they don't like the individual who created the Wizarding World. There are people who are excited for this game. There are people who have loved the Wizarding World for their whole entire lives, and honestly, that is what should be talked about. You might not like JK, you might not like her opinions, that's okay. Vote with your wallet. Do not buy this game. If you feel like you can make a difference, make a difference. Do not buy this game. Don't promote the game. I personally am going to be live streaming it on launch day. I am personally excited for it because I am viewing it as a game. I have streamed games on this channel that are made by people that I generally disagree with. People who I don't really like their personal political opinions, but it doesn't matter if it is not in the content, and that is what matters to me. I mean, you would think that the people that are upset about this game would at least be a bit happy because the developers have tried their very best to distance themselves from JK, and the development team has made changes to this game and added features that go against what JK believes in. Like, they decided to not add gender to the character creator, in what seemed to be a swipe at JK and her stances. They did that for these people, but these people are still so upset that it's not good enough. And that's another issue entirely, but I do talk about it all the time. You're never going to please these individuals. They are always going to find something to be upset at, find something to be mad at, find something to simply complain about. And while it's gee whiz, it's happening yet again. Who could have freaking imagined? So, yeah. All conversation about Hogwarts Legacy is now banned on Reset Era. I do believe I will be making a video on this tomorrow, and I will be talking about it. But, yeah, come back for that video if you're excited. Also, chat, before we get into the rest of the topics, I put a post up on Twitter talking about PAX East. This year, I will be going to PAX East. Previous years, like last year and the year before, I didn't go because there was a lot of COVID rules, regulations, and discussions. And while they are requiring masks this year, I will personally still be going to PAX East because I want to be able to live stream the event for you guys. I want to be able to, you know, purchase merchandise for the channel, show things off for you guys, take you around the event through a phone screen. But I did put out this tweet because I will be giving away 5 passes for PAX East. So if you want to potentially come to PAX East to meet me, to hang out with other Dark Titans, I am doing a giveaway courtesy of PAX. It is awesome that they have provided me with these passes. I am going to be running the giveaway for a couple of days. I will announce the winners on Friday. But yeah, I have 5 passes to give away. If you want to be added to the giveaway, all you have to do is go to my Twitter, find this post. That's all you have to do. That's literally it. That is literally it. And yeah, I will be picking the winners on Friday. Of course, once Friday rolls around, if you have been picked, I will, you know, be commenting. I will be making a public post tagging the winners on social media, and I will be asking you guys to email me with some personal information, but of course that personal information will be private. It is just so the passes can go through and they can be sent directly to you. The winners should brush up on their Boston accents. I wish I had a Boston accent. That would be awesome. I wish I had one. I don't, and I'm in Boston. It sucks. But yeah, PAX East. It is March 23rd to 26th. And of course, I've talked about other conventions. I'm going to several this year. I'm at least going to the Boston-based ones. I will be going to Anime Boston, PAX East, and then Fan Expo when that rolls around, but we are still quite a bit away from that. So, yeah, check out the link in the description. Go to my Twitter, or if you already follow me on Twitter, and you think that you would be able to attend, or you would like to attend, go and comment. But, yeah. I'll remind you guys again at the end of the stream. But now we have to talk about Forespoken. Woo! We have already gotten some really great releases this year, you guys. We've got Velma. Now we've got Forespoken. Honestly, I think that this year should be over already because there's no way that they can make this better. You know? There's no way that this year can get better. You have a Boston accent, Vera? Funny, because I haven't lived in Boston my whole life. So, I guess maybe then I adopted one. I don't have a Boston accent. Anyway, guys, we're gonna talk about Forespoken now. Yeah, Forewoken. I know we've been joking about that for a few days, even before launch, but, well, now, we see how it's going. I don't necessarily know if the game is woke. From what I have seen, I wouldn't say that it is woke. I would say that it is very bad. It's got very bad writing, dialogue, bad visuals, bad gameplay. I would just say that it is a bad game overall. Vera is a Kennedy. Actually confirmed. Kathleen is my mom. I didn't ever want to tell you guys. Can you say chowder, Vera? Chowder? Oh my god. Okay, guys. PS3 face models. Actually true. This game, it looks very impressive for being a PlayStation 3 game. I mean, holy. It looks pretty solid. PlayStation 5 though. Oh, and the PC performance. I have been watching some gameplay of it. This game runs like trash. I didn't honestly think that this game would be this bad. The critic score has gone up a little bit, and it's honestly very generous. 68, that's pretty kind. I think when the user scores finally open up, it is going to be absolutely destroyed. I hate when they do this. All sites should do this, or no sites should do this, where you can't review for a couple of days after the release. I personally believe that it should be you can't review for a couple of days, but I think it should be that way on every site. I don't like how, oh, Metacritic sometimes makes it so you can't review things for a couple days. Oh, sometimes sometimes Rotten Tomatoes does that. Oh, but then other times you can review it at launch. It's very inconsistent. All of them should do it, or none of them should do it. Just my opinion. It's not an extreme accent, Vera, but it's there. What's the accent for the way that I say room? Because I say room fine, and I need to find my fellow roomers. Okay? I say room fine. Okay? Stop being judgy, chat. If a critic likes a game, it's probably trash. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that there are still some good video game reviewers out there and journalists. They're just very few and far between, which is the problem. Yeah, Velma's 47%. That is very generous by critics. The critics are honestly very nice these days. I played all 75 hours of the game on day one. Surely. You say room just like I do. See? See? I say room just fine. You guys are judgy. You guys are mean. Forespoken, which needs a computer powered by NASA to play. I cannot believe the specs that this freaking game requires. It even runs bad on the PlayStation 5. Never mind on PC. I mean, you need like a top-of-the-line PC for the recommended. Never mind like the highest specs that you can put it at. I don't think anyone can play at the highest specs. But I did do a video on Forespoken earlier, in case you want to go and check it out. But I thought that we would sort through some of the reviews, see what people are saying, take a little bit of a deeper dive. Because of course, in a video, 8 minutes long, can't cover everything. Let's look at the 40s first, because all of these are negative. 40, 40, 40, 40. Where Forespoken should have been a striking and appealing fresh start for Luminous Productions, the end result, sadly, is a game not only bland and unpolished, but deprived of a reason to care for its unfolding mystery, a bevy of technical inconsistencies, lackluster open-world design, and most disappointing of all, a handful of systems with genuine enjoyment at times that don't see their potential fully realized. Dexerto said while Forespoken delivers a solid action-based combat system and an array of challenging bosses, it fails to create an engaging narrative thanks to surface-level characters and at times unbearable dialogue. I saw, not very long ago, it was like a clip. It was of a random character. It was like a male character, and I guess he travels between the worlds. Spoilers, I think. I might not even be 100% correct. But all this NPC's dialogue was just saying random words. Like, nothing he said makes sense, and I get it, like, his mind apparently is fried. But it wasn't even like he was giving you hints. It was just like, oh, I'm just gonna say a bunch of random words. Felt very forced, like, oh, he's supposed to be, you know, a little messed up in the head. You don't need to understand anything that he says. Well, why add a character if there's no point to him? The game is just bad. Oh, and the main character says bet. Like, when someone asks her to do something, she's constantly saying bet. Like, yeah, I'll do it. I can't stand that. Oh, that makes me angry. I understand saying it once or saying it twice. Bet. Shut up. It's like people that are completely out of touch with younger individuals just went on TikTok and listened to what soy boys were saying. Like, haha, bet. Ugh, I hate the word cringe, but it is cringy. That is cringe to the max. Bet. I can't stand it. Overall, Forespoken is a failed experiment. The few moments of joy are rarely not succeeded by the most absolute boredom or by questionable gameplay decisions. Look for something else, really. And then we get into all of the mixed. Nice fleshed out combat and parkour, fun and very fast-paced fights. However, the open world and the activities within it are not as satisfying. Forespoken is average. It has the highs and lows of an overall regular gaming experience. The nods to Alice in Wonderland, the combat, and Frey Holland's story are pretty good, but the game fails to deliver next-generation visuals. It is a sad time to be a gamer, I feel. I'm not saying that every single game that releases is terrible, because that's definitely not the case. But it's difficult, because I want to support new IPs. I want creatives to feel like they are making things that they feel passionate about. Whoops. But the issue is that I feel like these people are not passionate. I feel like they are choosing like the least passionate people possible for the jobs, and we end up with products like this. It feels forced. Like they put the wrong individuals on this job. They didn't really know what to have the character say. So they watched like YouTube videos and TikToks, and this is what they came up with. Take a drink every time Vera says she hates the word cringe. I almost always preface the word cringe with saying I hate the word cringe, because I do hate the word cringe. Cringe is cringe. And that's the problem with cringe, is it's not like, haha, I'm cringe. It's, oh god, that's cringe. You know, it's just cringe. I think a 70 is very generous. Despite its flaws, I enjoyed my time with Forespoken. While the narrative is janky at times, the premise is compelling, and the world of Athia is exceedingly well built. I have not seen a singular post praising the narrative. I haven't. And maybe there's people out there who will end up enjoying it. Even these like negative reviews are saying, or these slightly more positive yet still negative reviews are saying the narrative is bad. Rather than letting its awful story simply be a good excuse for its excellent gameplay, Forespoken insists on constantly interrupting your fun to throw some truly bad exposition your way. The character building and lore are a disaster, but it manages to make up with its incredible combat and traversal mechanics. The combat does look pretty solid, and honestly, to me, it feels very Babylon's Fall. I said that in the video earlier. I was initially very excited for Babylon's Fall. I thought the combat looked intriguing. I thought the setting looked really cool. It was that, like, 4-person co-op like mythology inspired game. It ended up dying in only a couple of months, and they ended up, I believe, shutting it down completely already because it did so poorly. But that was a title that I actually thought seemed pretty awesome at first, and then of course we found out that the story was lacking, it had technical issues. Very similar to this. The combat looks pretty interesting, but it is so broken and buggy and mediocre in so many ways, there's no chance that I would spend $70 on this. I remember a couple of months ago, I said, like, this is on my list to play. I was willing to give this title a chance, but then the demo came out, looks really bad. It got absolutely roasted online, and then we heard about the specs and the story, and there was just no way that I would support it at launch. This is a game that maybe when it's like $30 I would buy, but it's not a game that I have any interest in playing right now at this point. Is cringe really that bad? Yeah, the word cringe is cringe. What's an alternative? I don't have an alternative, which is why I always have to say the word cringe and give the long explanation about cringe being cringe, which is honestly kind of cringe, but honestly I'm kind of cringe, so it's okay. Cringe. Forespoken feels like a test that was turned in with answers missing, returned with a big red finish your work inked at the top. So much of this game feels like unrealized potential, a big, messy first draft. There are too many mechanics, there's too much story, too much empty world, and too little chance for surprise or discovery. It's disappointing for the people who were really hyped for this game, who were hopeful that it would end up being pretty good, but it is what it is, chat. Right now, it's looking pretty bad. When the user scores finally go up, I will be talking about those. I'm pretty curious to see what people are going to say. If they're going to say, you know, yeah, it's a 70, or wow, this is much worse than even the critics were saying. But we won't have those scores until at least tomorrow. So chat, now we are going to run into another conversation about Marvel. Superhero fatigue. I've never heard Vera say cringe so much in one stream. This must be a record. Are we doing a cringe record? Sorry, I just wanted to say it a bunch more. Kevin Feige cope. It is really Kevin Feige cope. Kevin Feige has been behind some good projects. I'm not trying to sit here and say that he's an awful person and he's, you know, made the worst content ever and made the worst content decisions ever, because that's not the case. We do need to give him some credit, but he just makes more bad decisions than he makes good decisions. Saying the word cringe is cringe. Vera, I know, it is cringe. I'm sorry for being cringe and saying cringe so much. It is cringe. Okay, I'm done. Marvel boss Kevin Feige responds to superhero fatigue concerns. I'm gonna put up a poll. Do you feel superhero fatigue? Yes, no. I personally feel a bit of superhero fatigue. I love superheroes. I've loved DC. I've loved Marvel for so long, but unfortunately, I feel like they need a couple of years off and they need to get their shit together. They need to stop rushing out content, whether it's movies or TV shows. They need a half a year, okay, to sit down, restructure, and rethink. I think that they can still make really great things. They have a lot of money to throw at projects, and if they just slowed the hell down with things, I think that people would give them another chance. But the problem is that they're constantly promoting a movie, releasing a TV show, and they're not the stories and the characters that people want. It says, while speaking on a podcast, he addressed the idea of superhero fatigue amongst moviegoers. It says each of our own sagas are broken into phases, and we now find ourselves on the precipice of phase 2 of the multiverse saga, and there are 2 ways to do it. One, we look at an overarching narrative, always using the comics and the 80 plus years of Marvel comic history as our guide of what general long-term story we want to do, but really it comes down to each individual film or series and what type of genre we want to do. I've been at Marvel for 22 years now, over 22 years, and most of us here at Marvel Studios have been around a decade or longer together. And from probably my second year at Marvel, people were asking, well, how long is this going to last? Is this fad of comic book movies going to end? And I didn't really understand the question, because to me it was akin to saying after Gone with the Wind, well, how many more movies can be made off of novels? Do you think the audience will sour on movies being adapted from books? Which I think that's a fair point to make, but at the same time, the problem is that he's leaving out a lot of details. So the problem here is that we're talking about novels from all different types of genres, hundreds of thousands, millions of stories, millions of different worlds and realms and characters. And while Marvel obviously, yes, has a lot of characters and stories themselves, we are still at the end of the day talking about superheroes and villains. Yes, you can make a superhero movie that has romance. You can make a superhero movie that has political intrigue. You can make a story about a villain who is a really bad villain, or becomes the hero at the end of the day. But the problem is that you are still talking about the same foundation. I think he's a little lost in the sauce. I've got to keep it a buck. Well, you would never ask that because there is an inherent understanding amongst most people that a book can be anything. A novel can have any type of story whatsoever, so it all depends on what story you're translating. He went on to point out that adapting these stories into different genres, but another way to do that is adapting them into different genres and what types of movies we want to make. I'm sorry, but they're still, at the end of the day, the same type of movie. Yes, again, you can make romances, you can make more action, but they're still superhero movies. It's just not the same. You cannot compare them. He talks about one other thing that makes the superhero genre so unique is how the stories can be set within any other type of narrative the creatives working the magic want. There can be horror, comedy, political thriller, big blockbuster spectacle. It's all possible. Yes, but you still need the same core element. It's like they're completely ignoring that fact to make a point, to sound correct. Because, of course, the Marvel simps out there, the Marvel lovers are going to eat this up and say, yeah, Kevin's right. The direct is right. You haters are just wrong. Because, yeah, they look correct when they're leaving out key information here. But, I personally think that superhero fatigue is a major problem. 66% of you voted yes, 34% no. Yeah. I do think that there is superhero fatigue. I don't think that that's just a Marvel problem. I think it is an everyone problem. Good stories, no matter what they are, can be successful. There are amazing comic books that still come out. There are amazing novels that come out. Awesome video games that come out. Even though there are also bad ones. There are still great Marvel movies that can be made and that can be successful. But the problem is that you're pumping out so much more content, you're tiring people out, and then they're giving fewer products a chance. I get it, right? Marvel makes so much freaking money that they are going to continue to pump out projects. If 4 out of 5 projects that they released were good, I don't think that's, I don't think that they'd be in the position that they're in right now. Consumer trust is declining. Their box office numbers have been declining. I don't want to say everyone on social media is against them, but a lot of people on social media are pretty disappointed with them. It's rough because, like, I like Marvel content in general. I think we can all agree that Marvel has some great content, some great characters, but it's movies like Black Widow that people don't want to see. But that's the direction they're going in. Thank you for the 2 super chats. Rover, thank you for the $9.99. I don't think it's superhero fatigue as much as terrible story fatigue. I do agree that that is a major part of it. People would still watch all of their superhero content as long as the story was great, the visuals were great, the acting was great, as long as everything about it was good. People would be like, oh, another superhero movie, awesome. But things like Miss Marvel come out, things like Shang-Chi come out, things like Black Widow come out, and they disappoint people. And then they say, ugh, you know what, I remember wasting my money on the last movie, I'm gonna skip this time. But thank you for the 10, and thank you, Fearless Leader, for the 20. I don't think superhero fatigue is the right word for it. I'm not tired of other superheroes like Invincible or My Hero. The issue is the formula associated with superheroes. I'm not into the D&D movie because of the Marvel formula. Yeah, I do. I also think that that is a good point to make. The formula is also an issue for people, for sure. People don't get tired of great stuff. I 100% agree with that, Rover. I do definitely agree. If it's great, people will love it. People will eat it up. People will accept it. But, well, not everything is great. Storytelling's mediocre. Graphics mediocre. Oh, the Eternals. I've said it a lot on this channel. Eternals was a poorly executed film with a good... Do I even want to say a good premise? With an okay premise? The problem is that it was so poorly executed. They should have done a Disney Plus series. They should have, you know, shown one new character every episode, had one new Eternal join every episode, or maybe 2 every episode. And then at the end, they should have left it at a cliffhanger, and then they should have made a movie. It doesn't matter if it's a direct-to-Disney Plus movie or a 2 theaters movie. They should have done a series introducing everyone, like what the first half of the film was, and then the second half of the film should have been its own movie. That's my opinion. It would have been so much better, because then you'd actually care about the characters. You'd have it fleshed out. Ugh. I don't want to talk about it. It makes me sad. Fearless Leader, thank you for the 2. Did you hear about the Nier Automata anime? I did. We'll have to see how it turns out. I get worried now when it comes to video games being adapted in any way, shape, or form. I hope it'll be good. Fingers crossed. Damn, I forgot Eternals happened. Yeah, Eternals happened. And now it's useless, because Eternals has barely been talked about in the MCU. It was like on a newspaper and talked about in like 1 line of dialogue, which is just so dumb. They just completely threw it away. Eternals should have been a TV or series. Yeah, and I think that they could have stamped a movie onto the end and been like, now that you know the characters, we've got some character building, here's the, here's the movie. Go actually watch it in theaters, because then people would go to theaters and be like, wow, you know what, that's interesting. I thought that the show was pretty good. But they didn't, because they're stupid. Alright, chat. We're gonna be moving into the next topic in just a second, which is going to be Rick and Morty. This happened just a couple of hours ago. It is trending on social media, as you can see on the right side of the screen. Morty, Justin Roiland, Adult Swim, trending on social media. It's probably #1 trending right now. Everybody is, I don't want to say everyone's arguing about it, but everyone's got an opinion. And because Adult Swim and, Rick and Morty's official account decided to not allow discussion because they locked their post, well, Now is when you get into Reddit's being blown up with people talking on them, and Twitter trending because everyone has to tweet individually instead of on the stupid little thread. But a couple of hours ago, it was announced that Adult Swim has ended its association with Justin Roiland. If you do not know who he is a co-creator of Rick and Morty, and he also voices Rick and Morty. So, they decided to fire a key part of this IP, which has upset people. Now, this all started months ago because he was being accused of a lot of different things. The accusation started 2 years ago, roughly. And, well, the accusations have now, been used against him in terms of business. So, it says in a semi-sealed case kept out of the public until today, and this was January 12th, so a couple days ago, Roiland, it says, has been charged with 1 felony count of domestic battery with corporal injury and 1 felony count of false imprisonment by menace, violence, fraud, or deceit. But, as you can see, and as the article says, he has not been found guilty yet. They have not gone to trial. This has not gone to court yet. This is accusations at this point. Now, before we, chat a lot about this, I am not sitting here defending the things that he is being accused of. The problem is that someone is being ripped away from their IP over accusations, and we don't have a lot of information about this. Maybe the companies behind the scenes know a hell of a lot more than we do. If they do, okay. But we don't at this point, so we can only judge what we are seeing. So, it says that based on California's sentencing guidelines, that means the voice of course, Rick and Morty could be behind bars for up to 7 years and face some hefty fines if found guilty. Now, of course, this is infuriating people. So first of all, they decided to post this on the official Rick and Morty Twitter account. They locked replies. It's got over 16 million views already. It's only been up for 4 hours. The quote tweets are very, very rough. People are arguing because there are a lot of people saying, he's being accused of these things. That should be enough. That should be enough to cancel someone over accusations. And of course, there's other people saying innocent until proven guilty, which of course is my mentality. I know everyone is laser focused on the Deadline article that has MILF Manor in the title. Did you guys watch that? That is some degenerate fucking content. It is degenerate. It's funny. But of course, everyone is arguing over on the trending page. Everyone's talking about it. It's personally, for me, I think they should have waited. It seems like everyone kind of dropped him at once, though. Oh no. Oh no. Everyone dropped him at once. So, yes, maybe they do have some kind of inside information. I think that they are just afraid of the backlash that they would face keeping him. But also they are now facing much more backlash because they're pushing one of the co-creators out of their IP and they're recasting Rick and Morty's voice. I don't know if they're going to do the same voice actor or a different voice actor. But, well, I think they should just cancel the show. I'm gonna keep it a buck. They should just cancel the show. Without him voicing the characters and having his creative input, I don't think that they should continue the show. He's the one who's done all the writing, all the producing. He cares about these characters. He's voiced these characters. Just cancel it. I'm sorry. They have no chance, I don't think, of keeping the show up and alive. I think that, yeah, there will be people who will, stand by their decision. Cat. But I also think that, yeah, there are a lot of people who are going to boycott the show now and say, yikes, you have made, like, the worst decision ever. Which is, again, what people are tweeting. LOL, how? Justin is Rick and Morty. It's so true. It's not like he was just a co-creator who, like, did some producing. No, he did, like, everything for this show. Wait, did Vera watch it? Wait, what? Where? What is it? Wait, MILF Manor? MILF? You watched it? Oh no, everyone's starting to question me. Yes, there's a show called MILF Manor now, where a mother and a son go on this show. They basically, you know, like the reality TV shows where, like, couples live in a house. It's a mother and a son that go there, and there's like 10 couples, mothers and sons, and then they date each other. So the moms date other women's sons, and the mothers date the son. Listen, I didn't write it. Okay, I'm just giving you the information. I'm just giving you the information. I didn't write it. I have no creative part in MILF Manor, okay? It's a TLC show. It's funny. It's degenerate. It's degenerate. They ask each other really, really random questions. Like, in the first episode, they had to have the mothers and sons guess. There was like a board of secrets, so everyone had to write a bunch of secrets about themselves, like NSFW things they've done to other people or just situations, and they have to put them on a board, and they have to pick each other's guesses. So, like, the son has to pick what he thinks his mother did, and the mother has to pick what she thinks her son did. It's a show. I don't know how it's a show, but it's a show. I think someone got a little lost in the sauce there. Fearless, thank you for the $5 super chat. I watched the first couple of episodes of the anime. It's pretty good and accurate to the games. Oh, nice. I'll have to check it out, because I had heard about it, but I haven't. I just know of its existence, basically. It's their real sons. They show pictures of them together when the boys were babies. Like, this is my son. This is a picture of me holding my son when he was like 2. Anyway, Rick and Morty chat. How do you feel about this situation? Do you think that... okay. There were tweets made that were allegedly direct messages that, you know, a girl got from this individual, and he was making a lot of questionable jokes. And at this point, they are just jokes, even though some people believe they're not jokes and he was being serious. Do you think that he should be removed from the IP and replaced as the voices of the characters that he created? I personally do not. I personally think that they needed to wait until he was actually found guilty, because innocent until proven guilty? Jesus Christ. Yes, MILF Manor chat. I cannot look it up on Twitter. I cannot bring up articles. I'm sorry, chat. Rick and Morty will never be the same again. There's no point in continuing to watch. I'm sure that they can find voice actors who are pretty close. I'm sure that they can find people who can mimic their voices fairly well. But again, the problem is the fact that it's not the same person. You're never going to get someone that is 100%, and, you know, it's his creation. Well, I mean, his creation isn't really anymore. Now that he's been canceled. But yeah, obviously people are debating about it on social media. I'm sure that we're gonna get some kind of information in the next few days that maybe gives more insight as to why every company literally decided to drop him all at once. But again, I think that it is just their fear of being canceled and people seeing that his name is still attached to projects. So he had to voice both and just got paid 4K? Yes. I hope that the new voice actors at least get paid more than 4K. I hope that they get paid what they're worth. I feel like the quality of Rick and Morty is going to go very downhill because one of the people who's a glue to the project is now gone. But, yeah. I mean, only time will tell. I may talk about it in a video tomorrow. We will see. But chat, tomorrow's going to be an interesting day because I am going to do a video tomorrow, or I should be doing a video tomorrow. But tomorrow, a couple of things. First, at 3 p.m. Eastern, there's an Xbox Developer Direct. We will be hearing about Forza, Minecraft, we will be hearing about Redfall. So, I'm going to be streaming that. I'll be going live at 2:45 p.m. Eastern. I'm probably going till about 4 o'clock because it's supposed to be about an hour. So, we're going to stream at 2:45 p.m. And then, later in the day at 8 p.m. Eastern, I am going to be doing the supporter chat. So if you are a member via YouTube memberships, a Dark Titan via Patreon, and you are a supporter, you will get access to that stream. And yeah, we're just going to be hanging out, playing some video games, chatting about upcoming releases, and just hanging out like we usually do during supporter streams. So yeah, also, I will not be streaming Thursday or Friday. We will not be finishing One Piece for a little while, and I will not be able to stream the release of Dead Space Remake on Friday, but I will be live Saturday and Sunday, and we will be playing the Dead Space Remake. I'll probably be going live at 7 p.m. Eastern both those days, so a little bit earlier so we can do longer streams. But yeah, fun times. Dead Space this weekend. We're only a couple of weeks away from Hogwarts Legacy's launch, which I'm personally very excited for. I hope Hogwarts Legacy ends up being as good as we've been talking about. If this game comes out and it is disappointing, I'm gonna be so sad. Because the trailers and teasers have looked solid so far. A lot of the information we've heard so far has been very solid. I am excited. I hope it's good. I'm honestly more worried at this point about Dead Space because there have been rumors that they're changing things, they're not completely following the source material. I hope that it is a great experience. I hope that it has... My number one worry is technical problems. Whenever a game looks good in the teasers, I don't know why, but usually it ends up running like shit. Like Callisto Protocol. It looked good. It looked like it had a solid story, and the gameplay looked pretty solid, and then of course it came out and there were small problems with everything, but it ran like shit. And I really, really hope that Dead Space Remake has no problems like that. Of course, it's a larger release because it's a remake of a fan favorite title, and it's a AAA game. In my opinion, Callisto Protocol was also a AAA game, even though it was the first game from that studio. It was filled with gaming veterans, and they knew the standards of the industry, but we're not going to get into Callisto Protocol. Regardless, Dead Space is this weekend. I'm excited for it, I am hopeful for it, and hopefully it will be good. But a couple streams before that, primarily the streams tomorrow. I don't usually stream on Wednesday, so that'll be fun. But the Xbox event is only supposed to be about an hour long, so yeah, I'm also going to be uploading a video. And then no streams Thursday or Friday. But yeah, those are the main topics we had to talk about tonight, guys. If you have any questions or topics you'd like me to discuss before the end of stream, feel free to leave them in chat. I'd be happy to answer. So yeah, lots of controversial things happening today and over the past couple days. Harry Potter games will never be good. I disagree. I think that the previous Harry Potter games were pretty good. They weren't perfect, but they were pretty enjoyable. I don't think a game has to be perfect to be enjoyable, though. I just think it has to be solid. You know, just has to be good. Just, I don't expect it to be great. I don't know. I feel like my standards personally are not that high initially. I think my standards for a game gets really fucking high when the studios are hyping themselves up, hyping their work up, saying their teams of veterans, it's gonna be an awesome experience, they know what the industry's like. That's when I start judging harshly. I don't know, just my opinion. But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed the live stream, make sure to give it a like. Check out the links in the description. Donate, support, become a member. Also, do not forget to check out Twitter. On Twitter, I do have the post up talking about PAX East. I will be going. Nice giveaway over there. So, yeah, don't forget to check out Twitter. Fun times. I'll also be posting it in the Discord server. So, yeah, if you're there, check it out. But just go on over to my Twitter account. And, well, look at the posts. Let's talk about limited fun games. There's really nothing to discuss. I did a video yesterday on the employee statement, and it was a pretty solid statement. I talked about, you know, how we still should not be letting them off the hook. Limited run games still has a lot to answer for. That, of course, they're not going to answer for. But, yeah. Chris. Come on, Chris. I'm not going to repeat that. Appreciate the live streams, Vera. I appreciate you stopping by. Thanks for being here, guys. But yeah. Fun times. Lots going on social media today. What else is trending? Destiny 2. What's going on with Destiny 2? Is it finally dying? Oh, it's people just talking about the DLC Lightfall. Maybe I should download Destiny 2. World's first solo gatekeepers run. Nice, that's awesome for you. What a 6-man raid done by one guy. Wow, that's awesome. Wow, I'm impressed. I mean, in MMOs you can solo raids. I guess in Destiny 2 it's much harder to do. People thought it was impossible. Nothing is impossible, okay? If you don't believe that it's impossible. Take your business elsewhere from limited run games. That's the best way. Hey, if you do not like what limited run games is doing, do not support them. That's what I've said, and that's what I will continue to say. If you don't like them, do not support them. I personally will not be supporting them, at least anytime soon. Maybe if they put out like a really solid statement, because I'm about forgiveness, right? Companies make mistakes, people make mistakes. We can't just, you know, demand change and then not support the change. I have said that so much. It's like with, you know, social justice warriors, no matter how much you change, they're never going to forgive you. I'm about forgiveness because, well, what's the point to complain about things and say things in companies need to be better if you're not even going to give them a chance? Limited run games, we need to put out a solid statement, a public apology to Kara, a public apology to the people that they have silenced, because of course they have not opened their Twitter replies in weeks. They need to It's hard because they're not... People have been bringing up how they're not offering refunds, but their refund policy has always been that way. They've never really allowed refunds, unless, of course, your item was damaged. So it's kind of difficult. I could say open up refunds, but that wasn't their policy before anyway. That'd be nice, though, for the people who want to return things and not support them. That would make them look like a better company, in my opinion. And yeah, they just have to make really solid public apologies. And they'd have to prove that they're not going to do it again. I don't think that they're going to do that, which is why I am not going to be supporting them. I've mentioned it several times. I have liked limited run games in the past. They filled a hole in the market. They've made a lot of good products, but they also have had a lot of criticisms thrown their way over the years. So, I mean, only time will tell. I don't think that they're actually going to say anything or do anything at this point, though. Also, chat, if you're enjoying the stream, give it a like. We need 6 more likes to hit 100. And yeah, I'm going to be wrapping up stream in just a few. I personally, I am pretty disgusted by the fact that they decided to fire someone and try to cancel someone over one individual's posts. But that is what they decided to do. And they made their decision. And all I can do is not support that decision. That's why I've been talking about it so much. But nothing else has happened over the past day since my last video on it. Maybe she will, make more statements soon. Maybe Limited Run Games will make a statement, but I don't think so. If they don't heavily preview Starfield tomorrow, it is a bad sign. I do not think that they will. The individual running the event, one of the Xbox studio employees, had said they're not showing a lot. They basically said it's going to be a couple of games, and I don't think that Starfield is going to be one of them. Maybe they'll show like a Starfield teaser. I don't think that they're going to make Starfield a big part of tomorrow's event. That would be great, and that would be awesome and nice, because that's really what I want to see. But I think that they will wait, and in like a couple weeks, they'll probably do a Starfield event, which is stupid. Because if you're going to have a developer direct and you're going to have these companies already there showing off upcoming products, and if you're releasing Starfield, you should just show it. Atomic Heart trailer? I'm still stumped about Atomic Heart because it looks different and it looks neat, but I'm worried that it's not going to be worth $70. That's the problem that I have with it right now. Is it just doesn't look like it's going to be a $70 triple, like a release. Like it just, I don't know, something about it seems a little off. We'll see. I'm keeping an open mind about it. Starfield. I think that Starfield will release this year. I think that we are pretty close to it releasing. I think it'll release in May. I think next month we will see the official trailers and teasers for it. But I don't think that we're going to see it tomorrow. That'd be nice though. That'd be awesome though. For Fable, we're not going to see anything for years for Fable. Just 2 months ago, they said that they had to scrap the whole game and start from the ground up because apparently it wasn't running the way that they wanted. So we're not going to be getting Fable for a long, long time. At least in my opinion, from what I think. Also, chat, I don't know if you saw, but I thought that I would chat about it real quick. I did make a tweet about it, or I need to retweet it. John Delarose released his new Kickstarter for Flying Sparks. It looks pretty solid. He's already hit his first goal, which is awesome, but I thought I would tell you guys about it. This year I'm going to start sharing more posts from other creators, trying to get some eyes from our audience on other creators, because a lot of the content that's being released now from, of course, mainstream creatives is trash, and I'm sick of consuming trash content. We need to start consuming really good content. And that's the best way, is to find the good content and point out the good content. When is Vera starting her new Kickstarter? What do I have to kickstart that you know of? Veraverse 1? I don't ever think that there will be a Veraverse the way that you guys think that there will be a Veraverse. There will be something similar to a Veraverse in the future, but I don't think it's what you guys are going to expect. What would you guys want from a Veraverse? If you could have anything. All hail the Veraverse. Shh. Maybe one day. The Veraverse, or whatever the name is, needs to be kickstarted. When you kickstart, you have to have a product already. You can't just put up a Kickstarter and be like, hey, you guys should give me money. You have to have a finished product to present to them. What is the product? Just me? Hi. I'm part of the Veraverse. Thanks, Kickstarter. The Mark Hamill's so stupid. I'm sorry. Mark Hamill. How am I supposed to feel bad for him? You pander, and then those very people eat you alive. And they try to cancel you because you make a tweet. That's what happens when you promote things like cancel culture. You don't publicly say, this thing is bad. Mark, you deserve it though. He really does. He really does. Oh yeah, did you guys see what David Jaffe said? God of War director says widespread panning of Forespoken was driven by assholes who clearly don't like women, black people, or PlayStation. That is absurd. People don't like Forespoken because it's a bad game. People hate Forespoken because it runs like trash, the writing is bad, the dialogue is awful, and the performance is poor. It's as simple as that. Also, thank you guys for the 100 likes, I appreciate it. Waifus in the Veraverse and voice actors getting paid $4,001. If I ever have to pay voice actors for anything, like if I did like a video game or an anime or like a project where I needed voice actors, I would pay them $4,001. I do not care if you are a Jennifer Hale, if you are a Troy Baker, you are getting $4,001. That's the way that it goes. You can accept it or you can reject it. But either way, that's a contract. Sorry. In his latest embarrassing attempt at signaling his virtue to his fellow adherents of critical identity theory, he declared that he will be buying Square Enix's widely panned Forespoken solely out of spite towards the a-holes who clearly don't like women, black people, or Hello, Bilbo. What are you doing? Bilbo was very sick yesterday. Or PlayStation, and he believes that are responsible for the game's poor reputation. Oh, he's got the midnight zoomies. Oh, jeez. Of course, it talks about Forespoken, which we discussed earlier. It says, yet despite being developed by the team behind Final Fantasy XV and featuring a story penned by Gary Whitta from Rogue One, a Star Wars story, jeez, who could have imagined, Amy Hennig, which, sorry, Amy, this is really bad, Allison Reimer, and Todd Stashwick, Forespoken has managed to miss the mark by nearly every single metric. I did play some clips in the video earlier today, so hopefully they don't try to, strike people's content down. I don't think that they will, because of course it is a video game, but I don't put anything past companies these days. But it says, oh, here it is. I have no strong opinion on Forespoken at the moment. Played the demo, enjoyed it, but not looking to drop $70 on it. Anyway, the pile on has me thinking of this, and how as I've gotten older, I've realized there is no bad creative output like ever. There is such a thing as bad creative output, and you're not going to convince me otherwise. I'm inches from pulling the trigger on Forespoken. I love how he capitalizes it. If you want to appear young and hip with the kids, don't just capitalize the name of things. Forespoken at $70. It's like you have to yell it. Part of it is the good stuff Part of it is the good... Oh my god, I'm losing my last brain cell. Part of it is the good stuff I'm hearing from people who are playing it, and the fact I did enjoy the demo. The other part is I want to buy it to spite the assholes who clearly don't like women, black people, or PlayStation. Listen, there are people who don't like this game for many reasons, but people aren't saying, I hate it because there's a woman, I hate it because black people, I hate it because PlayStation. People are saying that they hate it because the story is bad, the dialogue is cringeworthy, it takes a fucking NASA computer to run the thing. It's running poorly even on some of the best PCs. It's just not a game that was ready to release. And even if they delayed it by, say, half a year, it doesn't matter because they're not going to rewrite it. They're not going to re-record voice lines. So you just release it in a bad state, I guess, and get it done with. Rip the freaking Band-Aid off. But if, you know, you want to buy it, doesn't matter who you are, go ahead, buy it. I'm not gonna buy it. I'm not gonna waste my money on it, and a lot of people don't have to. He misspelled it and he typed Forespoken, like in all caps. To be clear, the tropes about black folks in Forespoken, oh, he didn't capitalize it this time. What's with this inconsistency? And he's still spelling it wrong. Are shit, plus they were called out over a year ago and Square did nothing. But I'm talking about the players who are being dicks for no reason, so I assume it's racism and console war and misogyny. Wow, David. Nice of you to assume what I'm upset at. Nobody's really bringing these things up. Nobody is bringing up the fact that, she's a woman, that there's black characters. Nobody's even really bringing up the fact that it's a console exclusive. People are just saying it's bad from everything that we've seen so far. Yep, criticism in any way, shape, or form makes you a racist bigot, according to David, which isn't very surprising, but, yeah, that's his mentality here. Failing to win over anyone with his doubling down, he attempted to further disingenuously distance himself from his initial rhetoric by turning his nose upward and asserting, "Learn to read human beings. I said one of the reasons I'm buying it, hashtag Forespoken, can this guy get consistent? It's despite people for whom them being racist, misog, console wars are motivating factors in slamming it. Where's your proof?" He doesn't provide any tweets, any images, any posts that are complaining about these things. Again, did I expect him to in the first place? No, because people like this just want to say that we're disgusting people simply for not wanting to buy this $70 pile of garbage. But classic, no images, no links to tweets, no posts, no evidence of these things. And it's also kind of funny that he's saying this when, while yes, there are users like me and you commenting on social media, user scores are not out yet. So really, all that he's doing is kind of calling out journalists, because they are the only ones who actually have reviews and ratings up. The game did come out today, so there are users already on social media saying, like, I'm only a little bit into this game and it's really bad. But most of the people who are rating it are the critics that he usually simps for, which is kind of funny. But yeah, Forespoken, as he yells it, is out, and he's saying, well, if you don't like it, clearly you just hate women, or hate people of color, or you hate PlayStation, and you're looking for something to be salty over. I personally wouldn't have taken that route, David. I would just say maybe you guys were being a bit too harsh on this game, because that's fine, right? Saying maybe people are being too harsh is a fine statement to make. But the issue lies in the fact that instead of just accepting that people don't like it, he's decided to call us disgusting things for not enjoying it. In my case, I'm not even giving it a chance. I am not going to be playing it. I am not I am not going to be purchasing it, but if you want to, go for it. If you are excited for it, power to you. I hope that you have a fun time playing the game. But yeah. If you don't purchase product, you're a bigot, racist, phobic, blah blah blah. Yeah, and unfortunately, that's just how it goes. It's disappointing. It really, really is. But it's just, I don't know. It's difficult. It's difficult because people do argue online. But if you're going to say that people are saying these disgusting things, provide evidence. And they're not, because there really isn't any for them. I'm personally just sick of being called awful things because I don't want to play a video game. I play a lot of games on this channel. That doesn't make me awful if I just decide, you know what, this game is bad. Also, he decided to try to call Bounding into Comics out. Funny. L+ ratio. Hey, Bounding into Comics, if you gave a shit about journalism and ethics, you would be ashamed of yourself. I never said that. Did I say and imply that some of the criticism of the game is built on racism, misogyny, and console wars? Yup. To say it was driven by them and the main group or majority who were panning the game, though, please provide and cite evidence. And they did! It was literally in his tweet. The only part is I want to buy it to spite the assholes who clearly don't like women, black people, or PlayStation. That is what he said. It is sad. L+ ratio, plus maidenless, plus tarnished, plus jobless. Okay, anyway, chat, we're gonna be wrapping up stream in a minute. If you have any final questions or topics, leave them in chat. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you for the donations, for the support. Make sure to go to my Twitter. I will link my Twitter in the chat. Check out my Twitter. Go on over there. Check out my recent post about PAX East. And leave a comment. These people don't know me, so their assumptions don't matter to me. Fair enough. But it's the classic all gamers are this way, or most of the gamers are this way. Trent, if you come into this stream and you say, I don't like the look of the game, you're in his category, which is the pathetic part of it. These people are just pathetic. L+ ratio plus Varaverse. I asked you guys what you would want to see out of a Varaverse. What would you want to see out of a Varaverse? Varaverse video game, please. Anime. Voice actor with some training. So what would the Varaverse be, Vera? You can't force those answers out of me. Vera would be an uwu in anime. Like an uwu girl. All good guesses. I would love to make a video game one day. I would love to make a video game or help with a video game. Any video game developers out there, send me an email. My email is in the channel description. But I don't think that that's going to happen anytime soon. But that doesn't mean that there won't be something soon. Only time will tell. What can I say? Waifu combat game. I would love to make a waifu combat game. I would make a really good waifu combat game. I would create the moves, the story, costume design. Oh, it would be great. I can't actually create it, but I can tell someone how to create it. I can do the classic woman and boss someone around. I would boss them around in a way that would make money though, you know? I'm racist against bad games. Ah, you still labeled yourself. That's all they care about. Lego sets? I don't know about that, but I do like Legos. I have a bunch to build. But alright guys, with that being said, I'm going to wrap up the live stream here. Thank you all so much for stopping by tonight. I do really appreciate it. Check out links in the description. Go over to Twitter, follow me on social media, join our Discord server. All that fun stuff is linked in the description. Also, streams tomorrow. 2:45, I will be going live for the Xbox event, and then of course 8 p.m. supporter stream. Check out today's video if you didn't see it, and yeah, that's all that we had to talk about tonight. Check out links in the description. Thank you all for the donations, for the support, for stopping by, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a fantastic evening, everyone.